Hey guys, welcome to the channel and another video. Today I'm going to be watching From Russia with Love by Terrance Young, starring Sir Sean Connery. A couple of weeks ago I watched Dr. No, also by Young, which I very much enjoyed. And as you know, I also realized that I haven't watched any of the Bond films till the Brosnan ones came along. I also asked in the Dr. No video which of the films I should watch and which ones I should skip on the channel, and you guys overwhelmingly said I should watch and review all of them in order. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Over the course of the year, I'm going to try and finish the entire Bond franchise and then maybe make a video ranking them in different orders. Let me know what you think of this. Anyways, I literally have no idea what this film is about, except playing the 2005 PS2 video game of the same name. Since I was in my teens when I played it, I don't remember much except Spectre being renamed Octopus for some reason. And I think there was a submarine or something. That's all. But before we get into it, to help support the channel, I have a Patreon page for full-length reactions to this movie and over 100 movies, early access, and weekly polls for what to watch next. You'll need your own copy to watch along. The link's in the description below, by the way. Please consider being a patron. Please subscribe to the channel. Do check out my other videos. Like if you liked this video, dislike it if you didn't. With all that being said, let's get started. From Russia with Love, Young, Connery. Let's go. What a timeless introduction, Sir Sean Connery. It looks like Bond is already on a mission. Is that Robert Shaw? I think it is. I've only seen him in Jaws, but his face is so recognizable and he has that mole on his face. I didn't know he was in a James Bond film. Okay.
Exactly 1 minute 52 seconds. That's excellent.
Huh. It's a mask. So they're training. Interesting. Nice. This is pretty creative. It is Robert Shaw. I heard recently that the entire Bond franchise is being sold to Amazon, and there's concern that whether the films will continue or not. I hope they do. That's a pretty decent looking set, but it is clearly a set. White. Looks to be an advantage. You are required at once. Okay. He's protecting his king. Check. That wasn't a checkmate though, I think.
Siamese fighting fish.
I recognize the ring. It's a SPECTRE ring.
I've planned for Spectre to steal from the Russians their new lector decoding machine.
I have selected a suitable girl from the Russian consulate in Istanbul, and her loyalty to the state is beyond question. It is most unlikely she would know I'm now working for Spectre. Moscow has kept my defection secret from everyone but a few members of the Presidium.
Oh.
Kronstein, you are sure this plan is foolproof?
Yes, it is. Spectre will probably have the chance of a personal revenge for the killing of our operative, Dr. No.
There is continuity.
Let his death be a particularly unpleasant and humiliating one.
Good.
It's not a Bond film without girls in bikinis.
Is the man I requested ready?
His dossier.
They actually have a training area for bad guys. He does look intimidating.
He seems fit enough.
Увидимся позже в столе.
This is Russian.
До свидания. До свидания.
Das Vidania, that means goodbye. I actually like this shot over here. Nice cinematography.
You know who I am?
Colonel Klebb.
Take off your jacket. I have selected you for a most important assignment. From now on, you will do anything he says.
And if I refuse?
Then you will not leave this room alive.
Not much of a choice.
Souvenir from another jealous woman?
Yes.
but I haven't turned my back on one since.
She looks familiar. I think she was in the previous one, but I'm not sure.
Tell him I'm on my way, will you?
He is not on his way.
Sylvia, behave.
Behave.
I'll be there in an hour.
Your old case sounds interesting, James.
Make that an hour and a half. Now, about that lunch.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
It's absolutely crazy.
Of course, girls do fall in love with pictures of film stars.
But not a Russian cipher clerk with a file photo of a British agent. No, it's some sort of trap.
And the bait is a cipher machine, a brand new lector.
A lector, no less.
A deciphering machine.
If there's any chance of us getting a lector, we simply must look into it.
So they're going for it, even though they know it's a trap.
An ordinary black leather case with 20 rounds of ammunition here and here.
We're finally getting introduced to gadgets. I don't think there were any gadgets in Dr. No.
Press that button there. Now she comes.
Nice.
An AR-7 folding sniper's rifle with an infrared telescopic sight.
Infrared. State-of-the-art stuff in the 60s, I bet.
Now, normally to open a case like that, you move the catches to the side. If you do, the cartridge will explode. Now, to stop the cartridge exploding, turn the catches horizontally. Then, open normally.
But I shouldn't think I need it on this assignment, sir.
All the same, take it with you. Good luck, 007.
All his gadgets are in this briefcase. And gadgets get more and more elaborate every new film, hopefully.
Darling Moneypenny, you know I never even look at another woman.
What a flirt.
Miss Moneypenny, ask 007 to leave the photograph.
From Russia with Love. It's funny how the basic design of a jet airliner hasn't changed in 60 years. Okay, in Dr. No, he was being followed just as he landed, and it's the same thing over here. He's already being followed, at least by two separate parties, that man and Grant.
Kerim Bey suggested that you see him before going to the hotel, sir.
And it looks like they're actually shooting in Istanbul.
Welcome to Istanbul.
Well, thank you for sending the car. You tell me, where can I contact this girl?
She said she would make her own arrangements.
Okay, I don't know who that was.
Mr. Bond, your room is ready.
We're hearing the James Bond theme quite a lot in this one. I bet the music became really famous between Dr. No and this one, so Terrance Young is using it a lot. Huh. I wonder what that gadget is.
I'm afraid the room won't do.
Did you hear that?
Tell him that's all there is, unless he would like the bridal suite.
I think that device was there to check interference.
I had visitors. Limpet mine on the wall outside. Time to catch me at my desk. But by good fortune, I was relaxing on the settee for a few moments. The girl left in hysterics.
Found your technique too violent? I think my visit might have something to do with it.
Let's try and find out.
The Emperor Constantine built it as a reservoir 1,600 years ago.
Really?
Wow, okay.
Underneath the Russian consulate, head of the table is General Vasily. Krylenko. So he's back.
This time around, the story is a little more complex, not that straightforward.
A girl's just come in.
Probably Romanova. You like my gypsy friends?
Gypsies? I like the change in music. It sounds very Eastern European. Another very decent looking set. I'm about 50% sure he'll seduce a gypsy girl here.
Quick!
Tell our host his hospitality overwhelms me.
Thank you, thank you.
Elle room?
She's saying that
Yes, I think I got it without the subtitles.
So they both want to marry the chief's son. It's very fun to watch though. Oh, Grant is here to ensure that Bond doesn't get killed or anything. They want him to try and get the Lecter device for Spectre. That makes sense.
Why would they want me out of the way?
Ecime suile.
Lavra thanks you for saving his life. You are now his son.
Could you stop the girl fight?
Kavga et meseler dior. Lavra said for you to decide. So decide.
Very nice.
She has a lovely mouth, that Anita.
Yes.
I see what you mean.
I have to pull that trigger.
Oh! That's the private escape through the mouth, and that's why he said the line. Very interesting writing.
She should have kept her mouth shut.
I like that. I really like that. Yeah, I think he hears something already.
A decoding machine, Lecter.
Must we talk about it now?
That's your mission.
Now what are you looking for?
The scar. You see, I know all about you. From your file.
You do?
Oh wow, okay, that's extremely creepy. They're filming them. Oh, I thought it was Bond.
And this here's a communication room.
It all sounds too easy to me.
I agree, Mr. Ali.
All I want is that Lecter.
All? Are you sure that's all you want?
Istanbul really looks like a beautiful place.
About the machine.
That's all you are interested in.
How large is the machine?
Like a typewriter. Will you make love to me all the time in England?
Day and night. Go on with the mechanism.
Oh, yes, the mechanism.
Awkward.
When it was being prepared, I saw the insides. Am I as exciting as all those Western girls?
Thank you, Miss Moneypenny. That's all, that's all. Later.
It's not like Moneypenny can't hear what she wants.
Now all I have to do is to tell the girl the date.
The 13th?
The 14th.
I wonder how that's significant.
Your clock, is it correct?
Always.
That was Yuri something, I forget his last name, the first man in space. It's funny how we recognize Neil Armstrong even more than Yuri. That's why he asked the time, because he knew the explosion was coming. Interesting. Going directly for the lector.
Was for tomorrow, but today is the 13th, isn't
It's a
it?
hell of a time to be superstitious.
Smart!
Come on.
That was a pretty smooth operation if you think about it. Went off without a hitch.
What's the matter? Tense, Russian security man.
Oh.
Mr. and Mrs. David Somerset.
Fake identity.
Your name's Caroline. You're accompanying me on a business trip on the way back to Derbyshire.
To our children.
No children.
Not even one little boy.
Near.
We've never seen Bond with a child.
Everything's arranged for me to stop the train.
We'll make you as comfortable as possible.
Grant is here and nobody is aware of the fact.
We better get dressed now.
Why? But there are some English costumes that are going to be changed.
But of course, darling.
They have really, really good chemistry together.
Mrs. Somerset.
Car agressiva.
There's been a terrible accident. Please come with me.
Surely Grant had something to do with it.
They killed each other.
Jeez, I didn't expect Karim to die like that. Stabbed in the back. That's one of his sons. I just realized he had a family. And the train didn't stop.
James, you're hurting
I'll
me.
do worse than that if you don't tell me.
I don't know what you mean.
Liar.
I did not know anything like Karim's death would happen.
This whole setup of Grant following Bond is really, really brilliant.
My brother telephoned me. Why did the train not stop?
Your father's dead.
Who did it?
Oh. Oh man, man, the tension is growing.
My God. I know this territory like the back of my hand.
Caroline, you go on with Captain Nash to the restaurant car. I'll join there in a few minutes.
Now I'm actually scared for Tatiana because she doesn't know the whole story. But we haven't seen him use any of his gadgets yet.
Excuse me.
That's something I'm still looking forward to. Oh no, we have seen him use the rifle.
We should reach the border in about an hour.
Yeah.
I hope it isn't poison. Okay, I think she's been drugged.
What was it? The stuff you put in a drink?
My escape route's only for one.
Well, that must be about 20 miles from here.
Maybe he's not shooting because it will create a lot of sound.
And it was SPECTRE who killed the Russian agent in the mosque.
I've been your guardian angel.
Saved your life at the gypsy camp.
Isn't she working for SPECTRE too?
No. She thinks she's doing it all for Mother Russia.
He just proved her innocence.
Well, then why kill her?
Orders. Here's a roll of film.
What film?
Taken in the bridal suite at your hotel.
I knew it would be back.
Which lunatic asylum did they get you out of?
Don't make it tougher on yourself.
I'm really enjoying this exchange.
How about a cigarette?
Not a chance.
I'll pay for it. 50 gold sovereigns.
Oh, Young is not using any music. And he's taking his time. Oh! This fight scene is also pretty impressive. It's being shot with a very close angle and the fight itself looks very intimate. Oh. And he has a knife! Well done, James. We do get to see the gadgets being used. Again, that scene was so raw.
You won't be needing this, old man.
That old man line just paid off so well.
Wake up or I'll leave you behind.
Excuse me?
Ouch. Wow. Impressive. I don't know whether they exploded a model set, or whether they actually exploded an actual helicopter. It looks like they did.
Oh.
Wow.
I'd say one of their aircraft is missing.
No shit, Mr. Bond.
Yes, we're here.
We still haven't seen his face, by the way, number one.
It was your plan. They followed it implicitly.
Oh, the shoe knife. Oh man, it was tipped with poison.
12 seconds. One day we must invent a faster working venom. I do not wish to have to tell the Russians that there will be another delay.
There will be no delay, number one.
That was a great way to show how serious the SPECTRE organization is. Great bit of world building.
Mr. Bond, you're trapped. You cannot escape. You cannot
Beautiful shot. Oh, crap.
There's a saying in England, where there's smoke, there's fire.
That was probably the best scene of the entire film. This is such a satisfying finale compared to Dr. No, where Dr. No just falls into acid and dies. Not acid, radiation water and dies.
And also, get me the British consul.
She's dressed like a maid.
Hello, Paul. Bond here. Here, leave that. I'll take it.
Romana!
Well, this is another opportunity to just eliminate Bond.
Take this.
Good for Tatiana. it's Tatiana who kills Klep at the end. Oh, they actually wrote a song for the film.
You are, in case you ever need it again.
Oh, yes. All government property has to be accounted for. We won't always be working on the company's time, will we?
No.
This is a shot in a studio, I think with a green screen in the background.
He was right, you know.
What is it?
I'll show you.
Nice. And the film ends almost exactly like the previous one. Not quite the end. James Bond will return in the next Ian Fleming thriller, Goldfinger. Alright, that's the next one then. Okay, I took some time to collect my thoughts. First off, I enjoyed this film much more than Dr. No. It was so good. I'm not saying that Dr. No was a bad film by any means, but this one was so much better. The plot had more depth to it, the acting was a little better, the characters themselves were more outlandish, and the overall film felt more like a traditional Bond film, especially with the use of his trademark gadgets, which we didn't see in the previous one. The main weakness of the film, I felt, was the editing, as I had a little trouble in following the story compared to the previous one. But let's start with the directing by Terrance Young and the script by Richard Maybaum. I know it was based on Ian Fleming's novel of the same name, like many of the other earlier films. I haven't read the book, so I can't comment on how faithful the adaptation was, but the film itself was very entertaining. The runtime of this film was a little longer than Dr. No, and that provided Terrance Young the time and opportunity to give his story more foundation, if that makes any sense. The characters in the film were more well-rounded, and so was the story. It was like a cat and mouse chase, but with a dog. By that, I mean the cat and mouse were the British and Russian intelligence, and the dog was SPECTRE. The fact that there were three main players made the story more complex, and it gave more depth to it than other spy films of the time. The story involved Bond going on a mission to retrieve the Lector device, essentially a MacGuffin, knowing that it was a trap set by the Russians. All this while, the audience knew that it was actually Spectre that set the whole thing up as revenge for Dr. No's death and to steal the Lecter device for themselves and resell it back to the Russians. So I really appreciate the little continuity between the films. That goes a long way in setting up the universe. The head of Spectre, number one, who we didn't see at all, a brilliant choice by the way, had a cat. This is a stereotype now, but I bet it wasn't back then. Anyways, we soon get introduced to Tatiana, a Russian agent who unwittingly is employed by Spectre to seduce Bond and to retrieve the Lector. She predictably and immediately falls in love with Bond, and although the audience knows her true identity, Bond is somewhat suspicious of her till the last moment. She proves her loyalty by killing Kleb. Spectre also has an ace up their sleeves with Grant, Donald Grant, I think, who is also shadowing Bond the entire film along with the Russians. The choice to keep Grant in the shadows till the third act was great, as it helped build a lot of tension, I'd say. I mean, Bond wasn't even aware of his existence till he impersonated another agent and almost takes him out. That was a great scene, by the way. Another thing I really enjoyed is the fact that this was the first time we get to see Bond use some of his gadgets. I think he uses them all, including the hidden knife, the rifle, the coins, and the exploding briefcase to kill Grant, which was very satisfying to see. The climax of the film was just awesome to watch, with an insane number of practical explosions on water. As you know, I love practical explosions in film, and this one did not disappoint for a second. Overall, the writing and directing was very good, and consider this to be a significantly better film compared to the last one. I'd even go as far as to say this was among the best Bond films I've seen so far. Then again, take that opinion with a grain of salt, as I've only seen Dr. No, most of the Brosnan films, and the Craig films. The cinematography of this film was pretty interesting. It wasn't brilliant, but very good. The shot compositions were pretty average, but the variety of locations is what really impressed me the most. We got to see Istanbul, London, Belgrade, Zagreb, I don't know where that is, and some other exotic places, which I didn't probably catch. This is definitely one of the strengths of the Bond franchise, looking at the world and different locations through the eyes of Bond and the era the particular film is set in. The editing of the film was probably the weakest link for me, with the action sequences being a little jarred and a little hard to follow. There were quite a few sharp cuts, and the flow of the film wasn't the smoothest. Again, don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad by any means, but it could have been improved a little. The music of the film was pretty good. I think the main theme was overused a little too much, but at the end of the day, it is an iconic bit of music, so no complaints there. This may also have been the first Bond with its own song, because if I recall correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. No didn't have a song written specifically for it. So that was great to hear. The sound design of the film was also very decent. The guns sounded loud and over the top, and the explosion noises sounded very satisfying. The atmosphere of the different cities were also taken into consideration, as each location sounded distinctively and different. The practical effects of the film were very creative, starting from the introduction sequences to the excellent stunt work done in the train scene and in the final boat sequence. The props like Bond's briefcase and the numerous gadgets like the knife shoe were also wonderfully made. I don't believe we got to see his famous Aston Martin quite yet, so I'm looking forward to that in the future. Great work in the production front. Sir Sean Connery played James Bond. His second outing as 007 was even better than his first, maybe because he is an established character by now, or maybe because he had better material to work with. Either way, he was great in his role here. He does everything expected from a Bond character. Falls into traps, gets out of traps, has excellent one-liners, blows stuff up, uses his gadgets, and gets the girl at the end. This was Bond at his best. And the only thing that was missing from his arsenal was his Aston Martin. I can't wait to see the next one, as I've heard quite a bit about Goldfinger. Robert Shaw played Donald Grant, the assassin who tails Bond most of the film. He was good in his role too, and the fact that he was in the shadows for most of the runtime made the film even more interesting, since he was the unknown element. We had no idea when or how he'd strike or make his move. He played his role with an intimidation factor, and his character was rather mysterious, and he didn't talk much, which added a much needed depth to the story. The rest of Spectre, including Kleb, who was killed by Tatiana at the end, number 5, the chess grandmaster, and number 1, were very well written. Terrance Young choosing not to show the head of Spectre, number 1, was excellent, since it only increased his intrigue, and I really want to know whether they explore more of that in the future films. Anyways, I've already mentioned the main criticism I had of the film, the editing, but apart from that, overall, From Russia with Love was a great Bond film with Sean Connery's commanding presence. Terrance Young made an excellent Bond film, improving on almost every aspect compared to Dr. No. The story was great, the acting was on par or even better for the most part, the music and gadgets were iconic, and so was watching the secret organization SPECTRE flexing its muscles. All in all, a solid entry into the Bond franchise. Anyways, thank you for watching. I have a Patreon page. Consider being a patron. Subscribe to the channel. Do check out my other videos. Like if you liked this video, dislike it if you didn't. I will see you in the next one. Bye.